Hey, good morning, LinkedIn. Welcome to Dialed In. Welcome back to Dialed In. I'm here in the office this morning, and this is a brand new time for the show, bright and early, 9 a.m. I have a repeat guest on the show, Deepak Seth, right? Seth.
Yes,
I got it.
you got it right.
I got it.
Thanks.
Awesome. So I got Deepak Seth in the building today. Last time you were in the building, I just drew a blank. What did we talk about last time?
We spoke about the gig economy.
That's right, the gig economy. That was quite a hit. That was quite a hit. That was a good conversation. So if you guys are tuning in on LinkedIn Live right now, let me know where you're watching from. We're going to get into this conversation about AI, the hype versus reality. But before we do, I want to give a quick shout out to company nearby, Taco Ocho. They brought, this is kind of crazy, like Rama. You know Rama, you met Rama.
Yeah,
I think people on live have seen Rama. He's down the hall from me here. He's been talking to Rigo over at Taco Ocho, and they just had this crazy idea, like, hey, we're gonna bring all these tacos in for like everybody in the office. So I'm in a Venture X Frisco up here. So if you are watching this inside of Venture X Frisco, we have tacos out there. They courtesy of Taco Ocho, they brought it, and I said I'd kindly shout you guys out on the show today. So much appreciation to Rigo out there and the team at Taco Ocho. So getting right into it. So the hype versus reality. So let's talk about this, Deepak. So what is let's kind of set the foundation here, right? So AI, artificial intelligence. Some people are out there kind of scared about it replacing humans, replacing jobs, right? This it's kind of the scary thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But before we go there, thanks, Kyle, for having me back on the show. I must have done something right the first time around. So thank you. It's always exciting to be back with you and speaking to your audience. A wonderful experience. And I see those tacos laid out before me. Kyle said, hey, you can have tacos before we start. But you know what?
It is Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, yes. But strangely enough, I went into this thing called intermittent fasting. and I had my dinner at 7 p.m. last night. So I'm waiting for 16 hours to pass before I can have my next bite. So So that's how human intelligence differs from artificial intelligence. We punish ourselves in strange and weird ways. But coming back to your point, Kyle, yes, artificial intelligence, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of scaremongering, there is a lot of fear among people. So I thought we'll get together and chat about this and talk about why it is so, what can we do about it, and what is real, what is the hype kind of thing.
Yeah, excellent. And as we have this conversation, if you guys are tuning in on LinkedIn, there's 6 of you guys right now. As you guys are tuning in, feel free to chime into the comments. I have the bridge open as well, so people can dial into the show at any point in time, 214-856-2389. So I want to jump into some practical AI that I'm actually selling today to my clients. This is not a sales pitch by any means, but I think it's practical to talk about this. There's a particular phone system that I use myself and that I sell to my clients that is transcribing every single spoken word that is being spoke across the entire organization, across every single employee. Like, these are data points that we previously have not had access to. That it's interesting to see what we can do with that now. So using AI to extract data, and now we can say, okay, the amount of times that sales reps say and ah, right? They're speaking too fast. They need to slow down and collect their thoughts. Or, the amount of times that somebody says, Taco Ocho has these vegan tacos here, right? Vegan or gluten-free. They say those words in your restaurant on the phone, and then they hang up because you don't have those options. And then now you're missing that business, right? So now these things are very practical in the sense that we can make business decisions from it. So that's some of the AI that I've seen in the wild right now, really practical.
Absolutely, Kyle. So what you are speaking about is how AI is real. And So before that, let's take a step back onto like why do things become a hype before they become a real kind of thing?
They have to, right?
Yeah.
Marketing, right? They
Yes,
have to.
you got it. You got it right.
I stole your thunder already.
Yes. But the way there's some human psychology, there's some marketing, there's and fear sells kind of attitude. But in terms of AI, let's take a step back and go back to something else. Let's think of a car, or let's think of electricity. Now, if we think of a car, means there is very complex engineering inside the car. There are controlled explosions happening inside an internal combustion engine. Now, suppose if the field of selling cars or popularizing cars was just in the hands of, say, the vehicle engineers or the combustion engineers, means it would have been a scary thing. They would have been talking about all these, how the fuel comes in through the pipe and it explodes inside the chamber, and then it is controlled and the piston moves and all that kind of thing. Or think of electricity that way. If the guys generating the electricity would have been popularizing it. So what happens is that right now AI seems to be in that age where the geeks who are defining AI, so all the talk is about the algorithms and the complex data science which is needed, and this now instead of rocket scientists, the AI scientists are the next buzzword kind of thing. But that does not help in popularizing it, because people are not interested in what goes on inside that thing. And a phrase which is coming to my mind is that AI needs to move from what it is to what it can do. So the what it is part may be scary, like, and any technology, the what is part is very scary, whether it's generation of electricity, whether it is the car, whether it's the simplest thing. But what it can do, the kind of things which you were talking about, they're not scary at all. Means, okay, AI can help transcribe things better, convert voice into text in a better way, and then extract the data and help people make decisions about it. That doesn't sound as scary as people talking about, oh, there are these complex algorithms and we don't know how they work or whatever kind of thing. So I spoke on for quite a bit. Kyle, I see a question bubbling up. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just gonna kind of add to that in the sense of like, so if we were to define this, right, if we were to kind of scale this back and define what constitutes AI, right, artificial intelligence, like at the core, what would you say defines that, so that we can kind of set that foundation before we go forward?
That's a difficult question, and so the term has been around. First of all, AI is not new. The term has been around since the 60s, 70s, maybe the 60s, I would say. But what has happened is that it used to be conceptual, but now the technology has advanced so much that some of those things can become reality. So in the crudest way, and in my thing is, so AI is an attempt to mimic what the human brain does, but we have not reached the general AI where it can actually be the human brain. But what it is taking some aspects of the decision making, repetitive thought processes, repetitive kind of things, and figuring out that machines or computer programs can do it better. So it's not that transcribing voice into text humans cannot do. Humans can do it, but the machine can do it much better, can do it much faster, can do it in a much organized way, kind of thing.
Yeah, and plus, who wants to sit around all day transcribing voice to text? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's really where I see AI. Like, AI is going to do the things that we shouldn't be doing.
Yes,
we should be doing that. And quick shout out. Good morning, Arcot out there, and Craig Broussard. Craig said that he has the same fasting window. Well, his is 1:30 p.m. today. And Arcot said CES 2020 and mobility, shopping, and futurism. How will it change AI hype versus reality in Indian markets? Further global impact on consumerism here in India. So we already got our first question. I don't know if you can answer that directly.
Wow. So So the question, if I can recap it for my brain. So this is the way the human intelligence works. Now I have to recap it for my brain. How does AI affect consumerism? Kind
specifically in India is what he's asking.
Okay. So frankly speaking, I have not given thought to it, but I can think about it right now. So whether it's in India or any other market, means what AI would do is, one is what I think is, when I think of AI, I don't think of AI as being something which gets implemented everywhere kind of thing. But what would happen is AI will get embedded in products which people use. So suddenly they may find our phones are becoming much more smarter. Even our refrigerators may become more smarter. As you were describing earlier, that even the equipment which you are using to broadcast the show is getting smarter. So some capabilities will keep on getting embedded in products, which would make people's lives easier and better, and that would in some way affect consumerism or consumer behaviors. That's one thought. Anything else come to your mind, Kyle?
Yeah, I would say consumerism, right? So, when you think about, like, I'm taking this back to like more of something that's tangible, that we can feel, that we can see. Like, if you think about like what they've been doing in retail, right? I know retail, there's a whole like debate going on there about like retail's declining, but then it's coming back up. But you see what they've done in retail, right? Like when you walk through, let's say you walk through Costco and you're walking and you're looking at things. They're tracking your face to see what you're looking at, to see like, okay, does he stop to see the vegan stuff or the gluten-free stuff, or like whatever the paleo stuff, the keto branding, like, do they stop to see that? And if they do, if they stop and pause, even if they don't pick up the item, but you caught their attention, like they're tracking that stuff with AI. They've already been doing that, right? So they're tracking that stuff to determine where we're going to spend our marketing dollars, like how we're going to define our marketing. They're doing these experiments, and they're realizing, okay, like when we put a display that says keto this or keto that, or vegan this or vegan that, like, okay, people stop. People kind of gather around that. They, like, as they're going, they stop and look. So like I would imagine that in that's already happening in like a digital sense as well too. It's easier to do that in a digital sense, like like online presence and whatnot. So I would imagine that just being more amplified. I don't know exactly how, but I know that it will be more amplified by AI, in the sense that they're gonna, like, think about like Facebook, like they know us better than we know us. It's scary if you really like pull back the onion and pull back the curtain, and then take a look and like think about it, like how well Facebook knows people. Yeah. And what they will do with that, and what they already have done with it, right? There's a lot of scandal out there, and a lot of things that have come up, like presidential elections and whatnot. But what they will do with it.
Yeah. And to your point, once again, coming back to another point, was that even the store example which you brought, it's a great example. So earlier on, means early day, 20, 30 years ago, means the same kind of things were done, but they were done in an experimental setting. So they used to create a store, and people used to walk in, and they used to see what catches people's attentions or not. So for example, the very oft repeated example was that in the cereal aisle, the sugar high cereals and the ones with the pretty pets on them and all were all kept at a lower level, where the kids, so that they were in the gaze of the kids kind of thing. But that was done in experimental setups. Now you don't need to do things in an experimental setup. You already had the security camera feeds, but now you can use that to build these additional capabilities of, in real time, you are seeing where people's gaze is going, and then you can make modifications according to. So this could be more dynamic now, means in the sense, we place things in this aisle at this level, but the sell-through is not increasing. Let's quickly move them around and see what happens based on what is happening real time kind of thing. So what artificial intelligence is doing is giving retailers and others the capability to do things much faster than what they used to do earlier, and in real time kind of thing. For example, this coming back to the facial recognition part, where and this is an example of it going, maybe AI getting ahead of itself, is how it is being used in China. They say, means people are being tracked in all what they do in public spaces, and then a social score is assigned to them. So if you are caught spitting in public, means it gets detected or something like that, and then your social score.
Wait, are they already doing this?
Yeah, I've read about it. So
they're giving you a social score?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
All right.
So what then?
That's trouble.
But that can drive behaviors, because they'll say, what, your social score is, so instead of credit score, you have got the social score. And if your social score is low, then you won't get, say, loans for something. So you know what? I need to make sure that I stay within the norms, because Big Brother is always watching me. So it's like George Orwell's 1984 coming.
Yeah, so they catch you spitting gum on the sidewalk, and you can't get that loan now. Like, wow. I mean, you shouldn't do that anyway, but like, wow, okay.
Yeah, so the example may be slightly extreme, but that's the intent kind of thing. So it is becoming real, and there's this Gartner hype curve. We know about it. Means all technologies, when they emerge, means they get hyped before they become real.
Oh yeah, the hype curve. So I can talk to the hype curve. So the hype curve is like ingrained in my business model, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the hype curve, the best example that I can think of right now is. It's still top of mind. It's you think of like in the enterprise space, right? Like legacy phone systems, like PBXs, mm-hmm. right? Like that was a thing. It still is a thing for some people, but right now, like people are flooding to, you would call it the late majority. Mm-hmm. The late majority are flooding to this product called UCaaS, which is just a phone system, but it's in the cloud. It's on somebody else's premise, right? But when I started selling that back in like 2010, it was like the early majority. So like if you're selling something and you're in the early majority of selling that thing, like it's going to be more difficult to sell that thing, because you have to prove it. Mm-hmm. You have to prove it to people. And we're at the space now with UCaaS, where like UCaaS, like if you look on the internet anywhere, you're probably going to come across like a RingCentral ad or some UCaaS ad. It's just like hot in your face right now. Mm-hmm. So like that's kind of how that hype curve works, right? And mm-hmm. and on that horizon, which is still like in like the early adopters, is AI. It's still like all the way on the other end mm-hmm. of that curve right now. Mm-hmm. And but the interesting part, right, is that all of this change gets accelerated, right? So even if it took us 10 years, because from 2010 to 2020, 10 years for UCaaS to go all the way up the hype curve and all the way around to this side, where now it's the late majority that are jumping onto this platform, it won't take us 10 years for AI to get there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's the even more like mind-blowing part of all this.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the thing is, the hype is also means the people who get on. So it's difficult. Early adoption is difficult for the adopter side, because the kinks are being ironed out and all that stuff. But it is most lucrative for the sellers too, because they establish the market, they set the price kind of thing. So it's a strange dynamic. Means early on, during my MBA days, means I had done a research project on the role of fear and humor in selling kind of thing. So looking at both these things and say, hey, what role does it play in the selling, in selling, how it influences individuals. And fear sells. Means so there is a lot of things get hyped up by people. So in this case, say big consulting firms and all, means they hype up technology. So ERP was very hot few years ago, and then big data became the biggest thing, and now AI is the biggest thing. Hey, I read a survey recently, and it's funny. It comes from a very big consulting company, and it says 80% or 75 or 80% of respondents, of CEOs, say that if they do not adopt AI, they will be out of business in the next 5 years. Now,
really?
No. But see,
Yeah.
So and I am friends, and they were talking once again. We have got a friend from India, so this was they were quoting a study done in India also, and I have a lot of friends, my batchmates and all, who are like who I went to school with, who are now CEOs of companies in India, and I said, hey, is this real? And they just all laughed about it. Said, this is like somebody pulling some numbers out of their whatever, because even in these surveys and all, there is this affirmation bias kind of thing. It's like, hey, do you like sliced bread? Yeah, I like sliced bread kind of. Like, who would say that they don't like it kind of thing, or oh, AI is not important. But when you take those results and frame it as like 75% of companies say they will be out of business, those companies have not been out of business. Like, a lot of things have come and gone. They are still around. They will adopt AI. AI is important. Everybody realizes that. But then using this hyperbole to sell stuff, I mean, that's the way the business. That's the way things go.
Oh yeah, well we need that clickbaity headline. It's gotta that headline's gotta like make you move in your seat. Like whoa, we're gonna go out of business if we don't do this. It's gotta make you move, right?
Yep.
So you have to pay attention to that, and you got to pay attention to things like all these research companies out there like Gartner and all these places. I'm not trying to throw shade on them, but you have to pay attention to the fact that that there's this affirmation bias, and then there's this pay to play, and there's marketing dollars that like that's the products that we get pushed on us. There's a reason why somebody's paying for that product to be pushed on us, right? It's not always necessarily what we actually want or need. Sometimes it is, but it's what they want us to have. It's what they have to sell.
And this is, since this is like a intellectual, a brainy kind of thing. If you make the leaders feel that if you are not onto it, you are like stupid. then but I'm sold on AI. I'm totally sold. I know that it is going to be a part of our lives in a very, very major sort of way. It is becoming a part of our life, but it is nothing to be scared about kind of thing. So like I think I had spoken about it earlier also. Means if I was a company and I was thinking of thinking about how do I make AI real in my company kind of thing, what should I be doing? So I had like laid down what I thought were like 4 important points which people should keep in mind. The first one I said was the vision should be think big. So take a step back, try to visualize where all can AI play a role in your company. Means like you said, hey, is it the voice recognition part? Is it just my technology getting smarter because my vendors are the cloud which they are putting me on is much more smarter kind of thing? What is the big vision where you think AI can fit? So this is the think big piece. The second thing was act small. So I'm saying think big, but act small. And what I mean by act small is that instead of trying to boil the ocean, you know what, I need to spend $50 million and become all AI. I'm saying, hey, pick the low-hanging fruit, decide what small initiatives, AI-related initiatives you want to take up, and then do a POC, build a minimum viable product, and then decide how do you want to operationalize it or scale it up for big. And you can have number of these initiatives going on, and fail fast kind of approach. Means some will work, some won't work, and you can minimize your losses to following this approach. The third point was think partners. And the think partners thing was that companies do not have, everybody doesn't have the expertise, AI expertise right now. So you'll have to pick partners. The partners could be consulting firms. And it's not necessarily that they need to be those big consulting firms. They could be niche boutiques. There could be individuals, experts who know about AI, who can help you chart the course of what you need to do. And the partners, another one which I personally used in the past when I was with the company was universities and research institutions. So universities have programs and they have students who want to be doing projects with things. Get them on board and have as interns or as part of their project, have them build something for you as part of. So it's a win-win for both of them. Once you've worked through your legal department to get all the NDAs and all whatever legal process needs to be figured out. But I have done that, and that's a very interesting way to go about it. And so we got think big, we got think small, we got think partners, and the last one I'm saying think evolution. What I mean by that is that this doesn't need to be a revolution. It's not like, hey, today from tomorrow I'll be AI driven kind of thing. This is a journey. It's a continuum. It needs to happen over a period of time. The technology itself is evolving at a very fast pace, but still evolving. It is not like the IC engine in the car, which is saying, hey, it means the design is frozen for last 50 years. All gas driven or petrol driven cars run the same way kind of thing. This is more like the electrical vehicle technology is still evolving. Batteries are becoming denser and lighter kind of thing. So, so
absolutely.
So just a recap of the four things was think big in terms of vision, think small in terms of action.
Act small.
Act small, absolutely. And then think partners. You need to involve partners, and then think evolution, not revolution. So just
evolution, not revolution.
Yeah.
All right, love that. Quick shout out to David Donahue. He said that social score stuff is crazy. Thank you, sir. And then Arcot has another question here, or another statement here. He said, would AI abilities cheat banking and Bitcoin, where in cheat coding can be used to buy product or products if we use Siri to shift balances from one banking system to the other banking system, even with OTP security? This is loaded. On that security firewalls can be cheated. Same with TID, OT, transaction ID in a banking account. How to ensure such things don't happen? So I think the punchline there is basically AI abilities to break beyond cybersecurity protocols, right? And that's an interesting lead in, because there's cybersecurity is this cat and mouse game anyway, right? So no matter how much we stack up the AI on the side of cybersecurity, everyone else on the other side, they're stacking up the AI against the cybersecurity, right? So of course, anything new or cool that we can implement over here to protect ourselves, they can implement the same thing or something equivalent to that on the other side to break into it.
So, it's a great point, but then this is part of our human existence. So this constant tussle between cops and robbers has been around since eternity kind of thing. So if the locks become smarter, the guys who are picking the locks are also getting smarter kind of thing. So in that way, means when I think of it, say philosophically or conceptually, means AI is just an extension of human intelligence. So we were doing these things. The cop and robber game was going on with human intelligence. The cop and robber game will go on with artificial intelligence. So if artificial intelligence can help people in subvert some of the security, but the security will also get smarter to deal with people who can do that. For example, and more often than not, the state, the government, the establishment has a head start in those kind of things sometimes, because in the sense is like recently some news was out saying that, hey, almost all the encryption software for chat on the chat software we use means there was a state controlled bug implanted in it right from the beginning. So the state could have been listening to everything for many years now. So we may like to think of things as being secure, but it's quite possible means so the state has a head start. So if before you want to be doing that thing, they know that you are going to be doing it, then they can thwart it kind of thing. Yeah.
Right, yeah, and it's just like everything else, like you said, like the locks get smarter, the lock picking gets smarter. it's a constant thing. So I hope that answered your question out there, Arcot. And I had a thought, right? So as you were going through this, like maybe I'm like jumping too far ahead here, but whatever. I remember I saw a video and I had to look it up because I forgot the name, but I saw a video of like Will Smith trying to kiss this Sophia, right? Sophia is like this artificial intelligent robot. Right, so like how far away, and it was fitting because of like the movie that Will Smith did with like iRobots or whatever. But how far off is the conceptualization of like having this actual AI that we can actually see, right? So AI that we can see like in another like pseudo life form, right? Like a robot or whatever.
So I remember seeing. I'll answer this in two parts. One is this. What this brings to my mind was there's an interesting video out there, which came out of Microsoft Labs, I think. But I'm not sure if it is just a creation or it is an actual prototype which they built. So what they did was they said that this interaction we are having right now, they could shoot it on using cameras, and then they could miniaturize it, and then they could use it and they could 3D project it on, say, a desk or a table somewhere else. So somebody else could see. So the example they were showing was that a kid was at home, the dad was traveling, kind of thing, and so with this setup, he could see his daughter right there sitting in front of him on the desk in his hotel room or wherever, kind of thing. Means a 3D protect and in a miniaturized scene. So it's almost like you're looking in a crystal ball, but it's not a crystal ball, but you're like seeing, my daughter is playing with a teddy bear and all that kind of stuff. So so there is a video out there. Once this is done, I'll send that across to you. So it looked pretty cool. I don't know whether it was real or somebody just made it up. But which brings back another one which I spoke about in another podcast too recently. Was a few years ago when I was I used to work at Xerox, and they had when Xerox celebrated its 75th year, which was in 2013 or 2016, they had an internal contest for employees saying, hey, what do you think would be a technology for the next 75 years? Share your thoughts. So I shared many such thoughts since my mind thinks that way. And one of them was about, I was saying that in the future, movies could be personalized in a way, two ways. One is that suppose Kyle, you are a Die Hard fan. Die Hard movies. I don't know if you've seen them.
It's not a bad movie at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call myself a fan, but yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So it's a Die Hard movie, but Die Hard has Bruce Willis in it, and you're not a Bruce Willis fan. You are a Nicolas Cage fan. And so you say, you know what, or you're Adam Driver fan or whatever, and you say, you know what, I want to see Die Hard, but I want instead of Bruce Willis, I want to see Adam Driver in it. Hey, so maybe AI can make that happen. So now take that one step forward. You're watching Gone with the Wind, and you have got Clark Gable and Vivian Leigh in Gone with the Wind, old picture, maybe much before your time, my time too. But then you say, you know what? Instead of Clark Gable and Vivian Leigh, I want Kyle and Mrs. Bird. So Kyle and your better half to be starring in that movie, kind of thing. So the plot remains the same, but the images get replaced. Now,
it's crazy that you just picked that movie because we named our daughter after that movie. So
wow.
Just a side note, it's just wild that you picked that movie because that's one of my wife's favorite movies, Gone with the Wind.
So now just think of it that you watching that movie, but you and your wife are starring in it. Now that was my idea a few years ago. But now it can be real in this world of deep fakes and everything. The image can be your.
Did you just bring up deep? Okay. I'm with it.
Yeah, so it can be replaced. But then somebody else, I wrote about it too, and then they said, you know what? Take it one step even further. You could have it. Why projecting it on a movie screen? Why not make it an immersive experience in a virtual reality world kind of thing? So you are like thrown into the plot of the movie. So those kind of things where AI and human experiences will become melded together, meshed together, will start happening very soon. The first thing may be the two-dimensional part where you're saying, hey, you are looking at yourself as being part of that. But the next one would be you are in it. means as a personal experience you are in it, so that could happen.
So actually, so Cinemark, yeah, don't mind that noise downstairs. They're building out the floor number 2, so you can kind of hear like a little shots fired down below. They're like shooting stuff into the ceiling right now. It's like we're gonna roll with it. So actually, a Cinemark over here, West Plano. I'm definitely not shouting them out for sponsorship or anything like that. But Cinemark over here, they have this virtual reality experience now. Like you can be inside of a Star Wars movie, right? And I haven't done it yet. I was wondering if you've done that or if you know anyone that has done it. But it seems like that we're already we're getting closer, right? I still don't think that if VR is the most practical thing ever yet. But I know some people, I know some friends that they'll watch a basketball game. Like I guess the NBA has like this partnership with VR with the Oculus, right? So you can put the Oculus on, and then you're sitting almost courtside for some games. I think they do like 1 game a week or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So like it's that's one of those things on that hype curve that's like way on the other side. I don't even know what's after that. Someone knows what's after that. I don't know what's after that yet, but like that's the VR is probably like the furthest thing on that hype curve that I can see right now. I don't know.
Means so these kind of immersive experiences, and then who knows? There may be an alternate reality could be created. So, and then people worrying about figuring out which one is real and which one is fictional kind.
Yeah,
of
then we'll need to get Eric Yancey back in here to open up the quantum realm for us, so we can jump in, right? To the alternate reality.
Yes. That was an interesting. If people have not watched it, then they can go back and see the recording. That was a good one around quantum stuff. So art means coming. So artificial intelligence is enabling all these things, and but. Can it, so a question I had posed to myself and I had written about it earlier was like, but can AI think? So right now so we as human beings think. So I said something and suddenly you remembered something and all that kind of thing. And these random thoughts are occurring. When we sleep, we have got random thoughts going on. So that true general intelligence, the artificial general intelligence they talk about, that is still far off, because AI right now is doing what it is taught to do, kind of thing. But is it able to think and do things, think on its own? So some weird experiments have gone on. Like they had 2 AI machines speak to each other, and then they started to make up things too, like which was not part of the program, and then apparently they shut that experiment down or whatever. So AI was getting smarter, writing its own code, kind of stuff. So people can read about that experiment. It's out there somewhere. So, but still means there is certain, as humans, there is something in us which at least till now we think is not replicable. So our emotions and stuff. But when you talk about it with other people, they say, okay, all emotions and all are also like chemical reactions, are electrochemical things happening in our brain. So, and based on certain triggers. So I may say something which Kyle doesn't like, and he may get angry, but then some chemicals are released in his brain which get manifested in terms of that anger. So when we get it down to that level of granularity, maybe those things can be mimicked in AI too. You know what? If I say the same word to that AI bot, he may react the same, he or she or it or whatever it's called, would react the same way and have the same chemical indicators, stuff going on. So who knows?
Yeah, I think we're also just kind of limited by the technology, right? So again, evolution, not revolution. Like you said it earlier, right? So AI is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I don't believe that in the current state that we have the technology readily available, meaning like consumerized in the sense that like down to a single iPhone. Yes, this iPhone is more powerful than the computer that Richard Nixon had back in, what was it, 60s, 70s? I forget. But at the same time, like what Eric Yancey was saying on the last show, like we have really fast, dumb computers right now. So I think that the technology is just not readily available for AI to completely just like blow it out of the water and thrive. Plus, we got these other things that are coming out like 5G and Wi-Fi 6. Like Wi-Fi 6 is going to be revolutionizing or evolutionizing in the sense that, like, you know, like we've been talking to the internet one device at a time on all these Wi-Fi points, and that's going to change. It's already changing now. But, you know, it just takes time to change. So everything's getting better with time. So I think a lot of it has to do with that, right? So we just don't have the tech is there, but we just don't have it like readily available. It's not affordable. It's not economical yet to just be everywhere yet. So in certain labs, yeah, like in certain labs, they have all the money, they have all the resources. Yeah, they can do some crazy things, but it's not going to be like readily available for us.
But you bring up a great point, Kyle. But what is happening is a lot of these. So all this progress is happening in so many different directions. As you said, this whole on the telecom side, you have got the 4G, 5G, 6G now. Already thinking about 6G, and on this AI stuff happening kind of thing. But when you start putting all this together, means that's when you really see stuff happening. An example, I saw a video recently of something happening in Japan. So, you know, lot of people have got diseases where their brain is active, but their body isn't. Multiple sclerosis and others, like the disease which Stephen Hawking had and others. Their brain is very, very sharp, but their body can't do stuff. So they've set up a restaurant in Japan. So the servers are robots, but the robots are driven by people using their brains who cannot actually do the stuff kind of thing. And so this robo is moving around, and the person and they actually want to deploy it in time for the Tokyo Olympics, just showcasing and this kind of stuff. So Tokyo Olympics are in a few months' time now. And so this robo was going around, and this robo was talking with people, but that the robo is a manifestation, is like a. So we used to think of avatars in the digital sense, like you are playing a sport and there used to be a e-sport or a game, and there used to be a digital avatar. But now that digital avatar is becoming physical, because you have this robo who's the manifestation, a physical manifestation enabled by digital technology of a person who cannot actually physically do something. So it's pretty cool. And then 6G, 5G, 6G will play into this, because this robo, this physical avatar needs to be connected at all points of time and all that. So that's where the whole communication thing will come into play. So edge computing, everything comes together.
Oh yeah, no, you brought up a really good point. I remember I was at a Mimecast conference here in Dallas not too long ago, and I forget the guy's name. I think his name is Mick. I forget his last name, but he started a company called Not Impossible Labs, and like the Stephen Hawking story, like people with ALS. I think that's ALS, right? Yeah. So I think that point I'm saying this is like AI is going to be really beneficial to people with diseases and people with disabilities, because like what they did at Not Impossible Labs was they made like an eyeglass that would allow you to like type on the computer. That's more, you know, the computer that Stephen Hawking had. Like even today, that computer is not affordable for the average person with ALS. Even the above average person with ALS, like that technology was not made affordable to these people that have ALS. So they're sitting there, their brain is active, their body's not. They can't do anything about it. They can't communicate with their family. They're like looking at flashcards, like blinking when they see the letter that they want to say. Like it's frustrating. So like that's where this technology, when all this stuff kind of combines together, that's when it's going to be the most powerful, when it's just impacting others and being able to solve like some of these what might seem like basic challenges. Like the most basic of things, like we can address that with things like AI and better connectivity and all these technologies coming together.
See, absolutely. So this is what I think about. Like I remember writing about it somewhere as a comment. Sometimes like people talking about AI and hey, some organizations doing some good stuff and all that. I said, hey, wouldn't it be great if this Davos thing was there, where all the brains go to Davos and they pontificate and all that good stuff, and it became a marketing hype. Every company was out there and talking about socially responsible and all that stuff. But But the proof of the pudding would be if somebody says, you know what, I am going to use a modern technology like AI and solve a real problem, say drinking water. So drinking water is not available in all countries at all times, kind of thing. Can AI help solve the drinking water problem in sub-Saharan Africa, or making clean drinking water available every place in India, since we have a person from India, or something like that? Means so that would be really, means then it would become really meaningful for even every individual kind of thing. So this is the part about responsible AI. So there are a few challenges around AI. So one of the key ones around the responsible AI thing, another one which got talked about a lot is about bias in AI, the algorithmic bias, because AI is created. You train models to do stuff, kind of thing. So you build mathematical models and then you train them using data sets which you have. Now, but if the data set you are starting with is flawed, means then so it's like the stupidity gets magnified, because that's where the AI is learning from. For example, it's a real example. So AI does a lot of image recognition kind of stuff. So you can teach it to say, hey, this is a cat or this is a dog. I mean, this is one of the basic things early
but want to be able to learn, like, okay, this is a cat. Now this is a leopard, and this is a jaguar.
Yeah, but then
that's the point of AI, right? So it's able to learn.
Yes, it is able to learn that, and it is able to teach itself, kind of thing. So now, for example, but if you say, you know what, I will teach my AI model to recognize doctors in images, okay? And so you give it a data set of all the doctors who are already, you go through yearbooks, and your AI model is learning from them. Now, if it uses the historical data set, suppose there were very few female doctors, or there were very few African American doctors, the AI model doesn't, now when it is shown images of females wearing a white coat and all that, it won't be able to recognize it as a doctor, because it has never been taught that females can be doctors. So these are the kind of things which are so biases will tend to get magnified because the data, because I see
what you're saying,
because you're using historical data sets in which the reality of today is not represented.
So it's going to be really important, the organization or the person or the people involved in creating such AI, like that's still going to be like, okay, here's the AI, here's what it does. Who created this AI? That's a really important context here. Who created this AI, and what do they believe in? What are their values? What do they see? Because now that AI is going to be, like you said, completely biased towards that opinion, the opinion of its creator. Now we're getting to like this intelligence that we created. Now there's like the creator and the thing.
And sometimes that it is not that the creator has a bias. It is history had a bias.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Yeah. So it's not like, okay, the AI creator said that, okay, do not consider females as doctors, but the historical data set shows the AI that, oh, you know what, a white coat wearing guy is always a male. So then they will assume that it is always a male kind of thing.
Right. Quick shout out here to Mike Rochelle. He said, great thoughts, Deepak. Can't wait to see you tonight. Love and peace. And then David was making a comment about the movie clips replacing actors with like Nicolas Cage, like the deepfake thing. That he made a comment there. Thanks, David. And then Kagan, I'm not sure what this was referring to, but he said it a while back. Said, how can we measure this effect? How can you give an example of a KPI? So as we're thinking about AI, like he's asking, like, what type of KPI would we use to measure maybe the effectiveness of it? I'm not sure.
I think ultimately means, so I don't know specifically what piece he was mentioning to. So a key performance indicator around AI means, I guess means initially it would be around like specific attributes. So when you're talking about, say, speech recognition, the transcription kind of stuff, means how many mistakes does it perform better than humans or worse than humans?
But maybe apply this back to the bias, right? The bias that you're talking about. So if you were looking across a sea of options for AI, right? How would you effectively measure which ones are geared this way or that way. I don't know. That. I think that's a question to be learned.
To be deliberated and come back at it. Maybe.
But man, we love our KPIs, right? We love our KPIs. We need them, right? We need the KPIs.
But conceptually thinking, we need the KPIs. But does AI need KPIs?
That's true. That's true. Like the AI probably doesn't give a damn about the KPIs.
But it brings up an interesting point. So a lot of the things, so the rules and frameworks we have created ourselves have been created according to the needs and limitations of human intelligence. Now, if AI is slightly different or is totally different, means it will have its own frameworks and own decision criteria and stuff like that. Are we good on time or no?
No, yeah, keep going. Yeah, okay. Keep going.
So we talked about responsible AI. We talked about this algorithmic bias in AI. And the second important thing, which is as it moves from hype to reality, is what is called explainable AI. So explainable AI is, if AI is a black box and it does something and it is not able to tell you why it did what it did, then it makes it difficult for people to trust it. And I'll give you an example, real life example, a project going on. It's in the public domain. I can speak about it. My earlier company was involved with it. DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, which funds a lot of cool new technologies. So the project was around so you have got drones delivering supplies to people on the ground. So it could be troops on the ground, but this is an example of, say, an hiker in a national park injured somewhere. So the hiker is injured and is lying lying somewhere, and the drone has to drop supplies to him. And the drone has got AI empowered capabilities in it. So it has to figure out, and the drone has to judge whether the person's leg is broken or not broken, kind of thing, and decide whether it should drop the supplies downhill of him, or uphill of him, because there's a stream flowing. So all the possible kind of scenarios which could happen. So the drone makes a decision and drops the supplies somewhere. Now, when it comes back to the base, will somebody be able to interrogate it and ask, hey, Mr. Drone, Miss Drone, why did you drop the supplies this place or that place? Now, in real life, if a real pilot were doing it, a helicopter pilot, when the pilot comes back, you can ask him, hey, or her, hey, why did you drop the supplies there? He can say, I saw that guy's leg was broken. I knew he couldn't climb uphill, but he can roll downhill. So I dropped it downhill of him. And why would we trust what that person says? Because we trust the person. We trust the training of the person because he's been a helicopter or she's been a helicopter pilot for 20 years. And third is we trust their credentials. You know what? He got trained by the Air Force Academy, and so we trust him, kind of thing. So AI would need to reach that stage where we trust it and it is able to explain why it did what it did. So it could be AI explaining to humans what it did, why it did, which means that you be able to understand why it did what it did. Or in the future, AI explaining to AI in their own little machine speak, like why it did what it did.
Yeah, so you're talking about like a life or death situation here, and using AI in a life or death situation. And I think you basically just defined what the KPIs are, maybe unknowingly, right? Because you just basically called it out, right? So who created this AI? That's the API number one. Do we trust this creator? How is this AI trained? Right? What is it trained on? Like, what's the framework? Maybe there's like a certain framework, like in IT, we have like NIST frameworks, which is the basic cybersecurity framework, right? So what's the framework? We trust that framework. So we establish that. Somebody establishes like a global framework, establish that, and we trust that one. That's what's used. And then second, the track record of or third, the track record of, field test. How did it react in this situation? If there were variables A, B, and C, which one did it do? And, collecting that data and combining, okay, it made the right decision 99.9% of the time. So, we trust that, and even if it does 1,000 drops and one drop, it dropped it downhill instead of uphill, and unfortunately there was a life lost. Compare that with a human intelligent pilot who maybe did 1,000 drops and I don't know, maybe 10 that resulted in a life loss, right? So is that better? And that's that's all we can do. Like, is that better? And you would arguably say, yes, it is better. The goal is 0 lives lost, but is it better than 10? 1 is better than 10. So yes, it is better. That's the KPI.
Yep.
That's exactly what you would do. And then Kagan said, how can we assess us? Yes, we did the proper thing. And I think that kind of explains it right there. Like, that's how you can assess it. Like, is this the right thing? You have to look at those variables.
But the judgment. So he brings up a great point. So what happens is human beings are the judges on the adoption of this technology. So for example, taking the example of driverless cars. Now, the theory would say that the driverless car should do just better than the only standard they need to cross is if they cause, say, less fatalities than human drivers, they should be good. So if the human drivers cause like 40 fatalities per 1,000 miles driven, and this driverless car does 20 fatalities per 1,000 miles driven, I'm making up the numbers, then we should say, wow, driverless cars are great. But the actual standards which they are held to is like, oh wow, one accident of a driverless car happened. No, shut the driverless car experiment down. That's where the human psychology comes in.
You're right. You read that headline. Oh, a Tesla crashed.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I guess I can't get in a Tesla anymore because one Tesla crashed.
Yeah.
But you're not hearing about the hundreds of accidents. Like even on the Dallas North Tollway right here, there's an accident every single day.
Yeah.
We only have 3 lanes, so it's shut down. One of the lanes is shut down every single day. It seems like.
So in some way, yeah.
And you don't. None of those accidents make the headlines.
Yep. So means, as you know, in the school, in the classrooms also, sometimes the smart kids used to be pulled down by the rest of the class. That happens. You know that it happens everywhere. Similarly, if AI becomes too smart for itself, we dumb humans will be pulling it down, saying, you know what, the standard is like not even one single accident should happen, which is would be a foolish standard.
Because there will always be the people over here that these people over here are like pushing the AI proponents, and there will always be opponents. There's always proponents and opponents of everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's always adopters and people that are like, no, we don't need that. Back in my day, we went outside, we didn't look at screens, we don't do that sort of thing. You know, I mean, there's always going to be resistance.
Absolutely, yeah. That's part of who we are as a species, and that's what it's the natural checks and balance which has ensured the survival of the species till now.
Yeah, and I know we said it earlier, right? Like fear-based selling, people do that. They sell you based on fear, but you know, there is some truth in that, right? A lot of it is just headline and hype, but like there is some truth. Like you look at like Toys R Us and Blockbuster, Nokia, BlackBerry. You look at some companies that just like, you know, they publicly failed, and you know, it is what it is. They did not innovate. They didn't think that this was relevant. They didn't think that this was relevant enough. That's what it comes down to. They didn't think that we were going to be on this thing all the time, and we didn't care about your store. We didn't care about your rental fee. We just care about this. We just want friction removed from our life. So like, and that's where AI is going to come in, right? So if you don't if you're sleeping on this, if you're sleeping on new technology, you don't have to go like all in. I think there's a balance here. You don't got to like go all the way in. Some of us will. Like those of us that live on the edge, that live in beta, that's me. It's uncomfortable for some of us a lot of the times, but we thrive in that discomfort just because we're constantly testing and tweaking new things, and we love that. But we're doing that ahead of time so that when it is ready for market adoption, that we know what's going on, and we can help guide people in that journey. But you know, I guess the punchline would be for everyone to like taste everything, right? And like and not to go to sleep on this stuff, right? So if there's a new platform that comes out tomorrow, if there's a new technology, you should know a little bit about it. You should know a little bit and not be closed off to like, hey, I'll never use that. I'm never gonna need that. Or I don't care about that. Yep. You should care about it.
Absolutely, yeah. You're right with that. Yep.
Well, preface that with you should care about that if you want to stay relevant. So you do what you want, but if you want to stay relevant in society, you got to keep up with this stuff. You just have to.
And means you need to keep an open mind too. Means so, and is it that so all technology is a double-edged sword? Means Alfred Nobel invented dynamite, blew things up, and then started the whole peace thing kind of thing. So dynamite can blow people up, and dynamite can blow up mountains so that roads can be made, kind of thing. So is AI all good?
That's a great line right there. Dynamite can be made to blow up people or blow up mountains to make roads. I mean,
that's what the invention was about.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So
I need some AI. We need to develop an AI. Actually, this is a great business model for anybody out here. If somebody can develop an AI, I might have to work with you on this. Develop an AI for a podcaster to, like, when I say I love that, I want that comment to just, that 1 minute clip to just automatically just pop to the top, like, separately, and just automatically be distributed somewhere. Like,
could be done. I'm sure
conceptually sounds pretty easy to do.
Yeah, see, it should be. So it creates a tag, and that tag gets assigned.
Yeah, because like that was the moment where it's like that was a good thing. So if you were listening or if you were watching the replay, like that was a good moment.
Yeah.
So awesome. Got some newcomers. Greg Rosner, what's up, man? Yep, he says right here with your early adopter. Last question of the day from me. Thanks a ton. Lovely show, guys. Arcot. His last question was, how will AI help the people who are in depression and in advancement to stop drug abuse as well as alcoholism, like change management of schematic conditions of human beings flow? Example, I want to smoke and AI says no. At the same time, it would help cigarette companies smoke more. This alcoholism dual aspect ratio if, as a clinical psychologist, I worked and provided luminosity to intervene a snake bite of a client. I like how this guy thinks. Okay. Let's break that down.
So all that is, so there is it's tangential related to this. So there is a whole field coming up, and I was involved. I interacted with a startup in that field a few years ago. And they're big. They have now come to the US too. So the concept is called enterprise persuasion technology. So the term is persuasion technology. So what it does is, so our cell phone, our smart watches and stuff already do that. They give nudges, means when we do the right, oh, hey, your exercise ring completed, or your whatever thing completed. So what this company was doing called Worksogo, what they were doing was taking this concept and applying it to the enterprise environment. How does it get applied? And similarly, it can get applied to the smoking cessation and alcoholism kind of examples too, I think. So in the work environment, they're thinking of, say, frontline sales force. You're working in a fast food outlet or something kind of thing. Everybody is wearing a devices. Everybody has got some targets, metrics, KPIs kind of thing. So what if this was saying, hey, you flipped your 100th burger today. Great job. This is how you are doing compared to your peers. So what it also does is, on the base of history and the kind of nature of job, it determines what the right nudge for you is. So Kyle may be an intensely competitive person, and for him it is important that he wants to figure out where he stands compared to others. So maybe the nudge for him would be, Kyle, you are number one in burger flipping. Means in our outlet, and so you feel good about it. For somebody else, the nudge may be that person needs to be better than what he did the last time. Hey, you know what? You have achieved your highest score in burger flipping. So your earlier record was 20 burgers. Now it's like 30 burgers, whatever. So these kind of personalized nudges, our AI figures out what the right nudge for every. So you can do a test or a psychometric analysis or something, saying what is the profile of that person, what would be the right nudge for him, and then keep on delivering those nudges during the course of the day. So it's a combining AI, gamification, psychometrics, all that coming together, and then deploying it via your handheld device or your smart watch or whatever. And so the intent why the company is doing it, the aim is to drive up productivity. So these could be, I use the example of burger flipping guys in the fast food restaurant, but it could very well be people responding in call centers, or it could be guys who are processing your mortgage applications. Means whatever nature of work, everybody wants a nudge or something. So they will deliver the nudges. So
right. That haptic feedback, right? That like you see it, like you can send, like if you have an Apple Watch and your wife has one, like you can send like a little heart, and like you can make like a pattern of vibrations that you can. You know, people, you start to see that coming out more. And to that point that Arcot made about like not smoking, I saw another device. It was a cool in concept, but it's like another device that you wear, which I think that's the problem. But another device that you wear that like would give you a negative feeling, like it would shock you a little bit, like it'd be like a little bit of a shock. So they're selling this product that like, hey, we're gonna shock you. Yeah, he said he saw that on the health app. Yep, we made a device that's gonna shock you if you. But, you know, I don't know how it would process, like, I'm thinking about smoking or I'm thinking about taking a drink, and I know I don't want to, like, so shock me right now. Like, that's the difficult part.
So we think
I'm thinking about a negative action that I deem negative.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this negative thing, but, like, I have the human condition, and I can't beat it. I need help to beat this human condition of, like, I want to do this thing so bad. This addiction. So how do I do that, right?
So once again, this is where AI can come in very, very handy, and I'm just thinking out, and maybe others are also already thinking of it. So the AI just needs to be trained. So there's a pattern of behavior. So there are certain triggers which precede an action by a human being. Some of them we know, some of them we don't know. Some of them have physical manifestations. So for example, say stress is a trigger for reaching out for a cigarette. So you think you are stressed, and that's why you want to smoke, kind of thing. But that stress has some physical manifestations too. Your heartbeat would be in a particular way. Your sweat level will be in a particular way. Your blood chemistry changes. Now, if you have a device which is monitoring all those parameters, it can detect that onset of, you know what, that I know that this, and it also knows that if this happens in the morning, this is how you react. If this happens in the evening, you reach out for a drink. In the morning, you reach out for a smoke. Whatever
starts to look for the pattern, and it starts to know, like, hey, usually around this time, if 11 o'clock, you go for a smoke. So I'm gonna shock you right now. I'm gonna give you that notification, that nudge right now.
Yeah, and you're saying, you know what, why don't you munch a chewing gum or whatever means, whatever the experts decide is the best nudge to get you away from the from that kind of thing. Yeah. So quite great question.
Yeah, and I think that's going to go back to, you know, everybody has, like, you know, everyone's split. You're either on iPhone or Android these days, and then everyone's split on different technologies. So I think that's the challenge, right? Like, we're never going to come up with some standard. Like, it's not going to be like, all right, everybody has Windows now. Everyone has Windows. Cool. Now because everybody has Windows, now we can apply these things to everybody. I think there's also that challenge too. Like, we're just kind of sprawl of, like, different device types, different technologies, different softwares, different operating systems. Like, that does present the challenge as well. So especially when you're developing a technology that would help everybody, you know, not everybody has the same stuff.
Which brings that other interesting debate which happens in this AI. So you already means people, this thing is going about the digital haves and have-nots. So we are creating a society where there are digital haves, people who have the digital technology, and the have-nots, either they cannot afford it, or they think they cannot learn the digital technology,
or they're resistant,
or they're resistant.
They're like, you will not put a smartwatch on me. You will not do this. Yeah. They're resisting.
Yeah, but then what it happens is, but if the digital haves get the means to keep on getting ahead in life, suppose, then the gap between the digital haves and have-nots will keep on increasing and will get manifested in other ways also. You know what? The digital haves are making more money. The digital haves are getting better medical care because they get notified that they need to go to the doctor, and the digital have-nots may not be getting that. So this disparity. So right now, the only reason for disparity amongst, you say your economic strata or the social strata or the educational strata, but now it would be, hey, what technology do you have access to can also have a bearing on what your social situation is.
Oh, that's powerful. I never once connected the dot. That is a really powerful thing that I think that's like almost another topic of conversation, like the digital haves and have-nots, like how that's going to create that disparity, like you said, like wow, that's deep.
Yeah. So this is this is going on. So it's like a new dimension has been opened up. So
right. No, like my mind is going all these places right now with that, because like you're right. Like the people that you see it, the people who adopt it, you can see this as in companies too.
Mm-hmm.
You can see companies that like adopt this stuff, and in my view, I see some of those companies, not always, right? It's not foolproof, but I see those companies as like the leading companies in the world. Like I think of Amazon right away. Like they just every new technology, like they're on it. Like they already got AI. They're already doing this stuff. And then I see other companies like typically in other like professional services or like consulting services. Like I see them maybe lagging along. They don't have the newest stuff. They don't even have like a modern day phone system yet, right? So seeing the disparities there, right? And you can see the big difference of like Amazon versus it's tough to compare that, but you can what I mean. Like you can see how it does have a huge impact and how it has an effect.
Yeah, and so the
relevance, and just using the tech instead of hiring. Not to discredit hiring, but like instead of hiring 10 people to do this thing, you develop a technology, or you have a technology that does the thing that 10 people would do. Now you can hire 20 people to go grow the business in different ways, because you didn't have to hire these 10 people to do this one mundane task. Like maybe burger flipping, right? Like who needs to do that if we could find a better way? It's not to eliminate jobs. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to just get more fulfilling jobs, more impactful jobs.
Yeah, so means humans are always fear. Means this is ingrained in our psyche that we fear new technology. Means it since fire means there would be humans who like, hey, fire, I can cook meat in it, and others would have said, no, stay away. Animals get burnt by it or whatever.
It's witchcraft, right?
Yeah, whatever. So when the first loom was invented, I think there was a whole movement in UK.
What is it?
The loom, the weaving loom, the one which makes fabric. Yeah. So there was there was a guy called Ned Ludd or something. So there was this whole group of movement called Luddites, who actually went about breaking the looms kind of thing. Hey, because it was taking their job. Earlier, cloth was made weaving was done by hand, and this guy came and invented like a loom kind of thing. And so people saying, oh my God, this is taking our jobs away. So when the cars would have come, means the horse and buggy drivers would have felt the same way. Like I take my horse cart and people ride it, and now this whole new contraption has come along. But ultimately, our life became better. Like now, aeroplanes means who thought? Means when they would have come about, people would have not thought that this is the way they are going to be used. So AI is also, to somewhat, it is like that. I mean, it is not to be feared. Like what is there to? There would always be some people who fear planes.
So what industry do you think is at risk? So when you said that, my mind went straight to, it just had to go there. Like taxi companies in. Not in New York and Las Vegas. I can't think of anywhere else. So a taxi company anywhere besides New York and Las Vegas, how they've suffered with Uber, right? So like what industries do you think would be, could potentially be at risk?
I mean, lots. Even
not at risk, but see the most change. So maybe let's not look at this as a negative. Let's look at this as a positive. What industries would see the most change, do you think?
For example, so AI is powering, say, it's not a direct way AI is impacting, but it's a way it could be impacting. So like now, a lot of food is ordered online. So Grubhub and all those kind of things. So they use algorithms, AI algorithm, whatever. And you pick a restaurant and you order the food, and so it's an existing restaurant with seats in it and all that kind of thing. But it's a very inefficient way, because that restaurant and its kitchen has been created to cater to people who are sitting in there and eating kind of thing. They have not been, the whole layout of the restaurant is not for home delivery kind of thing. So you see those people queuing up at the counter wearing their Grubhub cap or whatever, Amazon Eats cap, and to pick up the food and take it away kind of thing. So this whole concept was coming, and I think the ex-founder of Uber, who's moved out of Uber now, he's setting up this thing saying there will be centralized kitchens
Yeah, so you're talking about ghost kitchens, right? So like you have think about like co-working. Like I think of like WeWork, right? But like as a kitchen, like
it's a central
different
facility.
pop-ups.
Yeah, it's a central facility where things could be, and they don't even need to have a regular storefront kind of thing.
Right, it could just be like a warehouse. Like no one goes to it.
Yes.
Like you don't even need to know the address.
Yes, yeah, but it is structured for food delivery where the guy can quickly come and pick the food kind of thing. Then second,
before that, the number one problem we have with that stuff here, like in this area at least, right here in Frisco, Dallas, we have too many apps. We have Uber Eats, Grubhub, Favor. What's the other one? There's another one. There's another one. There's like 4 or 5 different apps. So like, and not every restaurant is in every app. So like, if you wanted to order from, I don't know, like if you wanted to order from Taco Ocho, like I don't think that they're actually in Uber Eats. I think they might be in Favor. All right, so you got to have like all these apps because maybe you want like restaurant A one day and that's in the Uber Eats app. Next day you want restaurant B, that's in Grubhub. Next day you want restaurant C, that's in Favor. It's like all right, come on guys, we gotta figure this out.
Yeah. So that's that.
Sorry, you were saying a second point.
So the second point was like means even many of these companies are also thinking ahead kind of thing. So like even a Uber or a Lyft know that I think their mindset is that sooner or later the driver will not be needed in the mix kind of thing. So those are the companies who are big into trying out these driverless taxis kind of stuff too. Uber has got its experiments going on in Philadelphia. Recently, I read about some company. The first time a company called Nuvo got permission in Houston, right in Texas, and they tied up with Walmart too. So Walmart deliveries being made to your home using a driverless vehicle. And it is this is the first time a vehicle which doesn't actually need to have a driver in it, because right now even the trials of the driverless cars required to have a driver in the seat kind of thing. These vehicles, they're smaller than a regular car. They won't even have a place for a driver in it kind of thing. So check out means it was in the news just recently. So Nuvo doing deliveries in Houston, a pilot. So which brings me to another point related to all this, means as AI moves from hype to reality, what I have said, I have written about it too, is and in almost all these technologies right now, there is a thing which I call the public trifecta. So there are 3 things which influence how people react to technology. The first one I said was public perception. So public has a perception about some certain things. So for many years, the public perception associated with, say, plastics was good. Hey, plastic is good. Means everything used to be in plastic packaging, but suddenly the perception has changed. And now when people see plastic, they think of plastic waste. They think of plastics choking the ocean kind of thing. So the public perception, the plastic has remained the same, but the perception has changed. So the first aspect was public perception. The second aspect was public trust. So you need to get the trust of the people. So AI is working its way towards getting the trust of the people. So you may be the best thing, but if people don't trust you, you're not going anywhere. And the last one, which was public policy. So public policy is how governments and institutions of the state react to emerging technologies. And public policy is often driven by public trust and public perception in democracies, especially because if people are okay with something, the politicians will generally be okay with it kind of thing. But in certain other cases, say in China, the public policy can go independent of what the public trust and public perception is. Hey, we want state surveillance of everybody, so we'll go ahead and do it kind of thing. So this public trifecta will determine how the reality of AI emerges. So that's what has governed, say, driverless cars to the public perception may be good. Driverless cars are okay, but that public trust has not yet happened because, hey, I don't know whether I will feel comfortable being in a driver.
So Arcot, he lied to us. He said that was his last question earlier, but he said, so mixed reality, ? Right? So that's what we're talking about here, like this mixed reality, right?
Yeah, mixed reality means once you get into an immersive experience, into a story, into a movie or movie setting kind of thing. So hey, you know what? I want to go to a African safari. So the mixed reality right now used to be that you go to Disney World or Disneyland and take the African safari ride in it. But in this case, means you could be placed into the safari experience, a virtual reality immersive safari experience, and you are in the African safari. So that would be mixed reality of a sort.
So wait, you'd actually be in the African safari, and you'd be. Wait, say that again.
Yeah, so it's a. So you are projected. You are sitting somewhere, and you have got your.
So you're not actually there.
You're not actually there.
Talking about VR then.
Yeah. It's virtual. So but it is mixed reality. It means some aspects you can combine some aspects of reality into it. You can build a story which could be a real. So that I'm guessing is the mixed reality piece.
So actually, my next show next Thursday. I don't know if we'll get into it, but I have a gentleman coming on the show, and he is potentially developing something like that. So nearby here. So that'd be interesting to find out more about that.
Yep.
So might actually see this come to fruition soon.
I mean, these things are
like
happening.
I think there's projects going on right now that aren't necessarily being talked about, but there are projects going on right now in this exact like mixed reality realm. Like think about like shopping malls and stuff. Like whenever I see like the mall, I see people like going into the mall to return stuff that they bought online. Like that's like become a phenomenon. And people go to the mall now to hang out. And like, if you have kids, like down here in Plano, there's the Crayola experience. Like the mall has become like this, what it needs to become is like an experience center, because people are buying stuff everywhere else. They're not necessarily buying it at the mall. You see sales are declining in retail. So like, bringing that experience, like however you can do it, like Cinemark's doing, like what we said earlier, the VR experience, like they put you in Star Wars or Crayola experience. They bring your kids to this whole like Crayola themed place. They have what's that one over here?
Lego may have
Kids Mania right here in Frisco, like the first one in the U.S. right here in Frisco, Texas. So Kids Mania is from I think it's from Japan or China. I think it might be from China. And like it's crazy. You go in there, it's like Las Vegas for kids. You go into this Kids Mania, it's like Las Vegas for kids, but like it's like a little tiny city inside of this building, and you forget that you're inside of a building because like they got the sky painted on the ceiling, and so bringing that mixed reality, like that's gonna be things are gonna change rapidly. They already are here.
But this is like some of it has been around for quite some time, and it will only get better kind of thing. I remember, this is many years ago, visiting Disney World, and so they had this. You go in a theater and you're watching the movie, and I don't know which one they played there. Maybe Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or what or one of the other insect some story. But the thing was that. So it was 3D first. It added that thing.
A Bug's Life.
Yeah, a Bug's Life.
Bug's Life in 3D, but it's in 4D. Really.
Yeah. So when that bug spits at you, they had like water come. And what's come on me? And when it says it is crawling beneath your legs, then they used to blast of air,
like the seat stuff pops up out of the seat.
Yeah. And then it's suddenly a blast of air, and you're saying, "Wow, is the rat scurrying by my feet?" kind of thing. Yeah. So that was an immersive experience, but now you take it even further, even further kind of thing. So means
because you were looking at just one screen in front of you. Now you would be like, you would be in it,
in it kind of thing. Yeah.
So, I think we derailed the conversation into mixed reality, but it was good.
Yeah,
it was a good derailing, I think. Before we wrap up here, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you, Arcot, for all the wonderful questions, man. He said, the last thing he said, Ericsson is coming out with mixed reality by 2021, I guess. So that's interesting. But before we wrap up, anything that I didn't ask you that I should have, or any other closing thoughts to wrap us up here?
Good, man. This was a great conversation. Enjoyed all the interaction with the audience. So just a quick recap means AI is the hype is marketing hype, but it is becoming the AI itself is becoming real very soon. As I said, means approach 4-pronged approach. Think big in terms of your vision. Act small in terms of what you do. Think partners in terms of lining up the people whom you want to work with in order to make it a reality. And think evolution, not revolution. It's not a point of time thing. It's a continuum. And then, so once again, it's think big, act small, think partners, think evolution, not revolution. And then how it gets framed up, means how it a public trifecta is very important. So you need to be thinking of how to gain the public trust, how to winning over the public perception, and how to influence the public policy. So that's the public trifecta, which would play a big role in adoption of AI. But great stuff. I loved the unscripted nature of it. We covered a lot of ground. So keep those questions coming. Let's keep this conversation going even after this particular talk ends.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Do you have any suggestions for, I know a lot of us have like smart speakers in our house and we use Siri on our phones and whatnot. So, I mean, that's like the first level of AI, but any other suggestions on how somebody can get in a little bit deeper than that, or where they could go, or just to get their hands on it?
I mean, the hands-on is like it is, means our smartphone has got AI in it kind of thing. The smart devices, I was mentioning it in the other blog. Like my wife recently bought, so there were a lot of these we were looking for a new blender. The last one I broke, the mug fell and broke kind of thing. So we got a new blender, and the blender links up to your smartphone kind of thing. So when you're it has a weighing balance, which the app is on the smartphone, and then it tells you how much of what you are putting in it. So it's overkill. We are not using it that way. But I said, wow, this is cool. Means it so straight away it will tell you how much calories are there in your drink, because the recipe is on this. Then you're loading it, and it knows what you're putting in it, and then it will tell you, and then it will link up to your health app and all. So it's like people are. The devices which we are using in our house in any way are getting smarter. So we'll need to become comfortable with them. Yeah.
Just keep trying out new stuff.
Yeah, on new stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, this has been a very fruitful conversation. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Definitely appreciate you, Deepak. This is a good one. So AI, is it hype or reality? The answer is it's both, right? So it is both a hype and reality. But I think as we continue, you'll see AI transition across that hype curve to become more practical and be adopted by more and more individuals and companies alike. Absolutely. So this has been awesome, Deepak.
Hey, thank you. Thanks, Kyle.
Yep, so appreciate it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And guys, if you guys like the new time here, let me know down in the comments. We're going to start to do this more early. Next week, we're going to be Thursday morning at 9 a.m. So mark your calendars, Thursday morning, 9 a.m. next Thursday. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate your attention. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, live viewers, thank you so very much for tuning in today. If you found even a sliver of value in today's episode, please, please, please tell a friend, share this on LinkedIn, tag people below, or share this directly in DM. That would mean the world to me. Without sharing it, the content does not get seen. That's just how it works. And also, if you are unaware, this is now available on every single podcast platform that's out there. So if you can't tune in live, no worries. Jump into the podcast. They're available almost immediately with our new streamlined process. So we won't miss a beat from now on. That's my promise here. But again, thank you so much for tuning in today. Hope you guys have a great, wonderful rest of the day. And remember, that thing that you're working on, that project that you've been putting off, stop procrastinating. Stop worrying about the strategy. The strategy can come later. Just start executing. Just start doing. Go out there and do stuff, guys. Thanks. Have a great day, guys. Headphones off. Let's do it.